What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Formula America podcast. We're your hosts, Kurt and Dylan, and Formula One is heading into the last race before the end of summer break. We've got 4 weeks after this race until the next one, but at least we're going out on a high note. We're going to Singapore under the lights, one of the bumpiest tracks, one of the most physically demanding tracks for the drivers.
Twisty, turny.
Twisty, turny, starty, stoppy. Last year was pretty boring until it absolutely came alive at the end, and we had one hell of a finish.
It was like the best 10 laps of the season.
It was, man. To see four cars, the top four separated by like a second, and none of them were a Red Bull in the most dominant year of Red Bull. So it was just super exciting. George Russell put it into the wall.
Classic.
And just oh, man. It was good, though. I enjoyed it. Something about racing under the lights just seems cool to me.
It is.
The nighttime
and it usually works out well for us on when the race actually starts during the day then for us.
I just looked it up. I was like, oh, it's another Asian race. It's probably going to be like 2, 3 in the morning. But no, it's nighttime. So we get it. I think it's like 8 a.m. on the East Coast here. Yeah. Perfect.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice and easy. And then we go, it's going to be Singapore. Got a long break. And then we hit the Americas. So,
yep. You know, one thing I'm excited for this weekend's race is the resurgence of K-Mag.
Oh,
K-Mag maximum, because he's coming back. He has 0 penalty points.
Stopping there. It is insane to me that you accrue 12 penalty points over an entire year and you get a race ban and then they all go away. You would think it would be, hey, if you get a race ban, come back and you like screw up again, you get a double race ban. Or like, why is it? It's like punishment served. You are free and cleared. Do whatever the hell you want.
He's been absolved of all of his sins. He's got, I think like 6 races left. He has no contract next year. He has nothing to lose. K-Mag can come out and just be an absolute menace. And that's what I hope happens. Oh, man, that's what I hope happens. That's going to be awesome. But so we got some changes this year, too. I saw that they increased the DRS zones. Well, added an extra DRS zone.
There's a lot of changes.
Increase the passing.
They got rid of 4 corners to make it flow better. So now we're down to 19 corners. They added a DRS zone and they resurfaced the other half of the track that they didn't resurface last year. So should be kind of a new race for most of the teams. A lot of data to gather for sure.
Yeah. I think they said they expect the track times or the lap times to go down by about 10 seconds because of the extra DRS zone and the less corners. And here's a fun stat for this one. Singapore has been on the calendar for 13 years. They have a 100% safety car rating.
Yep.
And the last 5 years alone, there was 10 safety cars over the last 5 years.
I'm ready for another safety car. George's, what's his face last week? Checo and Carlos's virtual safety car on the last lap doesn't count. I'm ready. I want a full safety car. I want it to wreak havoc in the pit lanes. I want chaos.
Burt Mylander is just sitting there just like, come on, man. It's been so long since I've been on track. He had to crash his own car.
Just to get some kind of action going. Don't even blame him.
All right, so before we get into what's going on, I do want to give an update because I was looking up the cars that are coming with liveries. And so we've got Mercedes is bringing a new livery for this track where the top of the car, they're doing green to replace all the silver, which kind of looks like a hybrid of the Aston Martin livery almost. V-Carb has a pretty cool livery where their partnership with Hugo Boss, so they got like denim painted on the front of their car, so it looks like a pair of jeans. And the one I was interested in was Red Bull announced that they are canceling their liveries for Singapore and for Coda because they're concerned about the excess weight. So it goes to show the state of Red Bull at this point, where they're concerned about changing up their livery because they don't want to add the extra grams to the car.
Which is, I think it'd be a good time to get into it. You were watching a couple of podcasts or different things, and we were texting back and forth on. We're seeing a lot of rumors about Liam Lawson signing with V-Carb. What does that mean with Danny, with Checo? We've been kind of speculating Checo's going to be there through Mexico, but it seems how hard the car is starting to be to control even for Max. There's now we were talking about it might make sense to keep Checo in that car because at least he's used to it and extracting as much as he can out of it at the moment. That might swing the other direction again, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense to put Danny Ricciardo in there and go through an entire learning curve. You were reading up a lot more than me on that. So as we talk about Red Bull not even wanting to add a few grams of paint, what does that mean?
Yeah, Lavies had a pretty good take on that, I think yesterday, and about what this could mean for Red Bull and for Danny Ricciardo. And yeah, same thing, kind of like Checo's kind of being vindicated now. He's sitting over there like, I told you guys from the beginning, it wasn't me, it's the car. But Max was just so good, he was able to overcome the deficiencies. And now it's finally gotten to a point where even Max is having an issue. And they're driving 2 different cars basically in the last race. And so I don't know, man. We'll talk about Danny. He's going to come up later on in this podcast. I got a feeling because he's on my paper. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting that they're that concerned now that they've lost the constructors. And they
haven't lost it. All right. They're in second. They haven't that's not the fat lady's not singing yet. All right.
She's warming up her voice now. And I think that they are in danger of losing second place. And right now they're just trying to damage limitation, hold on to that.
Yeah, they really are. I totally agree. The fat lady may be singing for McLaren driver too if he doesn't get his shit together.
Oh, you get out of here with that. I will not stand for that this early in the podcast.
Okay, well then should we go to predictions then and we can start it then?
Well, let's talk about what's going on with the tires and stuff, and then we'll get into that.
All right. So we got softest lineup C3 through C5. Typically this is a one-stop race, but safety car throws everything in the loop. With that, Pirelli basically said, hey, the soft tire is only for quali and race tires will be medium to hard. But last year that wasn't the case. We had a dry race. Quite a few cars started on the soft tire, try and grab some positions out of the gate because this is a street circuit that's not really easy to pass on. And so, if you can make up 2 or 3 spots out of the gate in lap 1, or if you're Lando and can not lose spots, that definitely plays a big factor. So last year, all 3 tire compounds were used in the race. We'll see if it's that way again this year. Like we said earlier, down to 19 turns to the lap. The lap distance is shorter now, 4.9 kilometers. So they're going up to 62 laps. Half the track's been resurfaced, which now makes the whole track resurfaced. They did half of it last year, half of it this year. So should be pretty interesting.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the weather report right now that Formula One just updated 2 hours ago. It's basically a chance of rain all 3 days.
Saturday is like 70% chance of rain.
Yeah, and it's not only that, but it's 26 degrees Celsius, which is 85 degrees Fahrenheit. But the humidity is the thing that really gets the drivers in this track because the humidity will just sap the life right out of you. So it's going to be rainy, potentially. It's going to be humid. It's going to be warm. So I'm excited. This is going to be a lot.
It should be. I hope it's a good race. Last year, we had Carlos Sainz on pole. The Ferraris did really well here. Red Bull did not. And the race was boring as all get out until the last 10 laps. And then those were absolute bangers. So I hope we get a little bit of rain, a little bit of chaos, and get a more fun race this year. But I have a feeling the middle section might get a little boring.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. And last year, I think it was a safety car that shook things up because that's when the Mercedes or a VSC. Yeah, Mercedes came in and started plowing through the field, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, it was a ton of
fun. And then George Russell plowed into the wall.
Classic. Anyway.
Classic Russell.
On the last lap. My favorite by far, I believe it was Canada, when Alonso was going a little bit slow and it threw Russell off and he flipped the car up in the middle of the track and he had the bottom of the car facing oncoming traffic. And it was last lap. All you could hear on the radio was George screaming, "Red flag, red flag, red flag."
Yeah. Where was it? I don't think it was Canada. It was somewhere. It might have been Canada.
I thought
that was.
That would be pretty terrifying, being upside down in a car, knowing you're in the middle of a track.
I'd be screaming red flag too. Like, hey guys, stop. All right, so you seem real freaking excited about these predictions. I just want to let you know that I have a lot of ground to make up.
You do.
So
And I went a totally different direction than you did. We're not going to have a single prediction that's the same.
I hope that we don't. I'm not going to allow it because I have to make up points. So I have to assume a little bit more risk here. I'm like K-Mag coming back with no penalties. All right, so let's go ahead and start off then. Poll.
Charles Leclerc.
Okay, I will go with my second choice of Lando Norris.
I thought for sure you were going to go for Lando.
No, I had Charles Leclerc on there. I was thinking logically. I always pick Lando and he never gets it. So I was like, I'll go with Leclerc because every time I pick Lando, Leclerc seems to get it. But okay, Lando Norris for me.
Leclerc or Norris did well here last year. I was like, you're definitely going to pick Lando. I'll go with Leclerc and I'm going to play the Ferrari game.
Yeah, and it's fine. I mean, I'm confident that Lando can probably get it. Especially with that McLaren, man, they seem to be good on some of the bumpier surfaces, so we'll see.
But you got P3.
Charles Leclerc.
Okay, all right, cool. We don't have the same then. I went back and forth on this one, but to stay different than you, kind of, and keep the order changing, going Carlos Sainz.
Oh, interesting. I'm interested to see what you have ahead of him. Carlos Sainz did really well here last year, and he's coming down to his end of his tenure at Ferrari, so he's going to have to start.
He is, but I think
putting it out there a little more.
I think he's going to do all right here. That Ferrari's strong. Tire deg's not a big issue. I think that they'll be good.
I think Ferrari's also got momentum and a lot of confidence right now too. So
and they've got the chance to seize P2. I think that they're going to be chomping at the bit to get it done, especially before Red Bull figures it out, because they're going to start improving again. I don't
definitely agree.
So P2,
I got Oscar Piastri.
God dog it, I've got Oscar Piastri. I'm keeping it. I don't care. We'll have one the same. I'm not changing my lineup.
All right.
P1.
So P1, I've got Lando Norris.
Charles Leclerc.
Okay. Interesting to see. And the reason I did that is because I think that Piastri is going to have to concede and let Lando go by and play the team game. And so Lando's going to win. Maybe.
The reason I didn't put Lando on there is I think that my assumption is we're going to have kind of a similar repeat of last time. He's not going to do well in quali here. Something's going to happen. And it's just too hard to pass. I don't think he's going to get up next to Piastri. If he does get up next to Piastri, I do bet there will be some team orders.
Yeah. All right. Wild card.
All right. Danny Rick in the points is yours.
So that is mine. And the reason I'm doing that, is because the noise is starting to pick up again around him. And if you look back throughout the year, whenever the noise starts to pick up around him, he'll have a race or two that's really good.
Yeah.
And so the last one in Canada, when Villeneuve started spitting off and got him pissed off. And before that was like, what was that? China? Is that when Lance Stroll hit him? China or Japan, one of them. But he was doing well before Lance Stroll came along. So as long as Lance stays away, then Danny Rick in the points.
That'd be cool.
And also that V-Carb, I think they're bringing some upgrades or some updates to this race. So
it's a bold move on a street circuit like this to bring updates.
I think that they needed that team has been flat, just in a flat spin the past few races. They have to do something because right now there's just no excitement or energy around that team.
Yeah, I do agree. I think you said it a while back. We can't call them upgrades; they're updates.
Yeah,
we don't know if it's good or not yet. All right, I've got that there will be an Aston Martin in front of a Mercedes at the end of the race.
Oh.
I'm thinking Fernando, but I'm leaving my options open. Lance Stroll pulls a rabbit out of, blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
There you go. And just for clarity's purposes, we're talking about an AMG Petronas Formula One racing car, not just a Mercedes powered car.
Yes. Okay. Yes, there will be a Aston Martin F1 car, probably Fernando, in front of one of the Mercedes at the end of the race.
Okay. All right. Just had to clear that up so you don't try to pull a fast one at the end.
You know what's crazy to me, pulling a fast one, is if you look at the constructor standings, you've got the top four. Mercedes is number 4 at 309 points. Everyone else is in the 400s. You have the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Right? You have V-Carb at 34 and then Haas at 29, and it goes down from there. And you have Aston Martin, like the only midfield team at 82 points. We have like a top of the field and a bottom of the field with Fernando Alonso hanging out in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Fernando Alonso all by himself.
Or I guess we could say there's a large mid pack, and then you have Kick Sauber at the bottom.
Jeez, Kick Sauber still with 0 points down there. Their only accolade was, I think, fastest pit stop in the last race.
That's a big improvement from where they were last year.
I mean, I guess it's doing something. Maybe try to get a point next time.
Yeah. Has any team ever not? Yeah, it's happened.
I'm sure.
Has a team in F1 never scored a point? Williams became the first team in 2020 to score 0 points since Marussia in 2015. Okay.
Oh.
That was worded really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of teams have scored 0. So,
yeah, Williams 2020 is the dynamic duo of George Russell and Nicholas Latifi.
Yep, the GOAT.
Which, speaking, I want to see where he's been. He's just gonna pop up one day and just be like, "Bro, where have you been?"
What is Nicholas Latifi? I type in "what is Nicholas" and Nick Cage comes up.
I already went to business school, so maybe that's what he's doing.
On 18 July 2023, so a year ago, Latifi announced via Twitter that he is enrolling in the MBA course at London Business School.
Oh, good for him.
Nerd. Anyway.
All right. Well, like we were saying earlier, this is a somewhat traditional race weekend here on the U.S. time zones since they're racing at night. So we got, let's see.
We've got practice Central Time, 4:30 to 5:30 on Friday, a.m. Free practice 2, 8 to 9. Saturday, free practice 3, 4:30 to 5:30. Quali at 8. Race Sunday, 7 o'clock.
Okay. I like it. Get it done in the morning and move on with the day.
Yeah. All
right, cool.
I'll be on Eastern time, actually, so that kind of works. I'll be up in New England.
Nice. That'll be exciting. Well, I guess you can, we'll hop back on Monday morning and discuss everything that went on. See if Fernando Alonso kills any more lizards. See if Lance Stroll can DNF the day before the race again. And if George Russell puts it into a wall again. So we'll see.
Everything's possible.
And K-Mag, that's the one I'm excited for.
K-Mag, so. I hope he comes out full Viking.
I hope so. Oh, walking down the pit lane, just a full Viking get up. With
the helmet on and everything. It's just like, do not, whatever you do not qualify near him. We don't care if you don't get out of Q1. Just don't be next to K-Mag.
All right, guys. Well, I think that might be it for this one. So if you like this podcast, make sure to leave us a rating and a review and share it with a friend. And that's all I got. You got anything else, Dylan?
No, sir.
All right. Well, on that note,
stay classy, America.
We'll see you next time.